Tonight, wildfires in British Columbia and the prairies bring evacuation orders and alerts to communities in harm's way.
Right from the highway, I watched the fire. It was burning hard, and it was rolling, and the highway was completely black.
Why officials are already worried about the season ahead. Go Public looks at a growing trend. Banks requiring some customers to sign non-disclosure agreements.
I was really stunned, to be honest, because I didn't do anything wrong. And why do you try to shut me up?
A Mother's Day interview that doesn't shy away.
I've had very hateful comments come my way, yes.
Were you surprised by the threats you faced?
Surprised.
Adrian sits down with Sophie Grégoire Trudeau.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hennemanson.
The number of evacuees is surging as wildfires move closer to homes in multiple provinces. The smoke is spreading even further. Air quality statements are in place for much of Alberta, fed by fires in British Columbia. The fire season across the region ramping up fast, and federal officials say they expect it to be catastrophic. There are more than a dozen out-of-control wildfires across Western Canada, some dangerously close to communities. In Manitoba, this vast fire is prompting hundreds to evacuate the area of Cranberry Portage. In Alberta, a fire has put Fort McMurray under an evacuation alert, another placing some residents near Grand Prairie under a full evacuation order. And in BC, a fire in the Fort Nelson region has now triggered evacuation orders affecting roughly 4,000 people. Yvette Brand is in the Fort Nelson area right now and spoke both to evacuees and those who intend to stay, even as those flames come closer.
Getting ready for our sort of last stand, if that's what it comes to.
Fort Nelson Mayor Rob Fraser is trying to get the last 100 or so people out of town, with fire coming from 3 directions and the wind picking up again. Buses were prepped at noon today to take the last people out of Fort Nelson, but some refused to go.
We're asking them to rethink that position because there will be nobody there to help them.
Fort Nelson's like a ghost town. It's almost like the day after you, and it's real weird. You know, you're the only one in that town.
Dwayne Lowe says he's among those staying to fight the fire.
I have no fear. We're going to save it. We are not afraid. We're gonna handle it, but it is high on the nerves.
A 4-hour drive south in smoke-choked Fort St. John, evacuees wait and hope.
It's sad because what do people do? If you're not prepared for it, what do you do?
It's been stressful, been very anxious.
These Fort Nelson teens bought fishing rods to kill time and cast away fears.
And we have a bunch of people down there right now still fighting the fire. Like my dad, he's filling up all the planes and helicopters and stuff so they can keep going back in and out.
I don't know, it's worrying. Hopefully the town doesn't burn, you know. Hopefully it's still there. It's always be home, whatever. I never thought it'd be us, you know, until now.
In Fort Nelson, the mayor is not giving up yet.
You know, we're going to fight this right to the end. As long as the life of people and our firefighters is not being jeopardized, we're going to keep keeping on.
And Yvette, when it comes to the next 24 hours for Fort Nelson, a lot now depends on the weather.
It does, Ian, and the winds are starting to pick up even now, and they're expected to blow hard this evening at 40 kilometers an hour, and that's bad news as it could drive the fire right into the town of Fort Nelson. A lot of people are waiting to see the RCMP officers behind me. One of them's from Tumbler Ridge and volunteered on their day off because they remembered what that was like when the winds almost drove fire into their town.
Yvette Brand just outside Fort Nelson, British Columbia this evening. As the wildfires come in contact with power and communications lines, they're causing outages. The most recent for the people in the Flin Flon area of Manitoba. Now, that was caused by the same fire that uprooted hundreds from Cranberry Portage, which lost internet, phone, and power. But in northeastern BC, Yukon, and the Northwest Territories, services are coming back online after an outage this weekend that was also caused by wildfires. People in Alberta and Manitoba are also facing down rapidly growing fires, including some who aren't waiting for an evacuation order to get to safer ground. Here's Sam Sampson.
The sky, a warning.
Okay, we should get the hell out of here, right?
That escape was almost too late. This fire is burning about 1 kilometer from a northern Manitoba community. It's forced about 600 people from their homes.
Oh, this is the worst.
And it's closed parts of the highway. Evacuees say they were first told they had 2 hours to leave, but things escalated so quickly it turned into 20 minutes.
Right from the highway, I watched the fire. It was burning hard, and it was rolling and it was dark. The highway was completely black.
In Alberta, Fort McMurray is facing down another fire, now about 16 kilometers away. The city is under an evacuation alert, and residents know all too well how quickly things could turn.
You're almost waiting for it and constantly searching social media, what's going on? Is there new news? So yeah, it's 2016 all over again. So 8
years ago, the entire city fled as a catastrophic wildfire burned down entire neighborhoods. Though Fort Mac is only on alert, some residents gassed up and got out right away. Those who stayed say they're ready for anything.
Tank full of gas, jerry can in the garage. I waited till the initial rush of gas station panic happened Friday night before we left the house.
3 days worth of clothing, everything, documents, all ready to go.
This fire is in such a remote area, firefighters have to fly in.
So logistically, it's a little more complicated to get firefighters in and out. But we'll see what happens in the coming days and if we're able to establish better access.
On the other side of the province, a second out-of-control wildfire forced 17 households off their properties, the smoke leaving a thick shadow. All that smoke is creating hazardous conditions in other parts of the West. The Air Quality Health Index is at extreme levels in both Winnipeg and here in Edmonton, which means people more prone to health issues could face even further risks just from breathing. Sam Sampson, CBC News, Edmonton.
Let's look overseas now. Russian forces are once again advancing in the Kharkiv region of northeastern Ukraine, sending civilians fleeing. Ukrainian officials helped residents get out from the most dangerous areas after Russia launched a surprise attack on Friday. This is the same region where Ukrainian forces pushed back an incursion in 2022. Russia's defense ministry says this is the result of a Ukrainian attack on an apartment block in the city of Belgorod, near Russia's border with Ukraine. The ministry says the missiles killed at least 7 people and called it a terrorist attack.
We are ready if necessary and don't even think about attacking NATO countries.
And that's Estonia's defense minister on the military exercises NATO is holding in his country. 90,000 troops are taking part, the biggest since the end of the Cold War. The exercises will last until the end of the month. In Gaza, Israel is intensifying its offensive in the south and further north. The country's military says Hamas fighters are regrouping in the areas the army had cleared months ago. And as Chris Brown shows us, civilians are running out of places to flee.
The UN says nearly 300,000 people have now fled Rafah, but as Israeli tanks and troops push deeper into the city, the options of where to find safety are few. Zainab El Kahout said food and water for her children are scarce, and an old tent on a beach is now all the family has for shelter. I stayed in it for 5 months in Rafah with other displaced people, she said. I want to try to stitch it up, but I can't. But even as Israel expands attacks in Rafah, it's also returning to areas where it claimed to have already defeated Hamas forces. We've identified attempts by Hamas to restore its military capabilities in Jabalia, said Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari. Hamas isn't just reorganizing, it's also striking back. The city of Ashkelon faced multiple rocket attacks Sunday, injuring 3 people.
We need to see that too.
In TV interviews, the U.S. Secretary of State underscored Israel has failed to develop a credible plan for safeguarding civilians and for stabilizing Gaza.
If they leave and get out of Gaza, as we believe they need to do, then you're going to have a vacuum, and a vacuum that's likely to be filled by chaos, by anarchy, and ultimately by Hamas again.
With the increased Israeli strikes from the air and ground, casualties are spiking, topping over 35,000 dead, said authorities in the Hamas-run enclave. Here we received the bodies of an entire family, said a healthcare worker at the Kuwait-run specialized hospital. They arrived to us all ripped up. May God be our savior, she said. In Israel, the week ahead is likely to be emotional and fractious, with ceremonies of remembrance and muted celebrations for Israeli Independence Day. Some families of hostages plan to hold alternate ceremonies that don't involve what they call a shameful government that won't end the war and bring the hostages home. Chris Brown, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Canadians hoping to bring family here from Gaza are running out of hope. Some have gotten relatives out of Gaza, but no further, while others worry their loved ones won't even get that far. Rafi Boudjikanian shows why.
Before the war, Hazem Al-Masri was planning a holiday in Gaza this month to be reunited with his mom.
Yeah, so this is my mom.
Instead, she died far from her son.
I miss her a lot. I miss her love. I didn't see her for a long time.
She succumbed to her diabetes after her access to insulin was cut off.
People called me and they wanted to comfort me, and they said, well, your mom died. At least she wasn't died under the rubble.
This week, Israel started a military incursion after it told more than 1 million Palestinians who have been sheltered in Rafah and its surrounding area they need to leave. Among them, Hazem's brother Nael. We expect death at any moment, he told a CBC freelancer. You're sitting in a place that any moment you can die. They wanted to come here through special measures for Palestinian extended family of Canadians. But Israel and Egypt must approve names Ottawa submits to get to Cairo. They've accepted none, leaving some, like Hazem, no choice but to pay thousands of dollars to smuggle other relatives to Egypt. His uncle died in Cairo.
He had infection in his legs, and it was too advanced to the point they decided to amputate his legs. And after the surgery, he did not make it.
Al-Masri's MP pressing Ottawa to use diplomatic channels to allow Palestinians out.
We have heard from Minister Miller and Minister Joly, have seen photos with their counterparts. So we know that those lines of communication are open.
Immigration Canada says it is advocating for approved Palestinians and discourages them from getting to Egypt through their own means. But it has approved travel to Canada for 179 people who have done just that. Rafi Boudjikanian on CBC News, Ottawa.
Now to some tense moments here in Vancouver after a gardener unearthed a grenade in a popular city park. It happened this morning in a community garden right beside the city's busy seawall. The area was blocked off and an explosive team called in. Police say it was an old grenade that appeared active. It was safely detonated. They're now trying to figure out how it got there. In Baltimore, bad weather has delayed plans to remove part of a collapsed bridge from the harbor. That structure came crashing down more than 7 weeks ago when it was struck by a massive cargo ship. Chris Glover has the latest on the complicated cleanup.
Yet another delay in the efforts to get the Port of Baltimore back up and running. It's been paralyzed since March 26th when a cargo ship called the Dali crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing it to collapse and killing 6 men who were fixing potholes.
We knew that in order to safely remove the dolly, it was going to require precision cutting.
For weeks, crews have removed debris in preparation for the controlled explosion of larger bridge pieces that have weighed down the ship, trapping it in the channel.
There's not going to be a big fireball explosion, explosive type of an effect. These are very discreet, highly focused.
An Army animation shows how the explosives will be packed into millimeter-wide cuts in the bridge's steel trusses before ignition.
Precision cutting offers one of the most efficient and safest methods to be able to remove steel under such a high level of tension.
Video from another Maryland bridge demolished last year shows a real-life example. In Baltimore, officials hope the bridge pieces will be thrust away from the ship, allowing it to refloat and finally be freed. Its 21-person crew still on board, forced to wait it out. As the demolition is delayed once again.
Dude, this is bad.
New video shows stunned first responders.
Like there is no bridge. Like there is no bridge.
Just part of the evidence federal agents will use to determine why the ship lost power crashing into the bridge. Chris Glover, CBC News, New York.
Some of Canada's big banks are under scrutiny tonight for a tactic critics say is being used to silence customers who bring legitimate complaints. Erica Johnson explains in tonight's Go Public.
Gwanghoot Sui was preparing his business taxes when he noticed an item on his bank account statement, a $1.50 fee, sometimes several times going back months. Under his plan, his financial advisor said,
"You get 5 free transactions every month." I said, "That's great. Does that include e-transfer?" He said, "Yes."
But when he heads to his TD branch, he finds out e-transfers aren't included. He files a complaint. TD eventually agrees to pay back those fees and offers a small bonus as a goodwill gesture. But when the paperwork arrives, it includes a clause saying the settlement is confidential.
I was really stunned, to be honest, because I didn't do anything wrong. And why do you try to shut me up?
He refuses to sign. The bank says no confidential contract, no money.
That is just unfair, and that is unethical.
Go Public also heard from a BMO customer forced to sign a gag order if he wanted to get back half the money stolen in e-transfer fraud.
They just want me to shut up. And I guess that's it.
No one in Canada tracks how often non-disclosure agreements are used. Initially created to protect trade secrets or intellectual property, lawyers say they're increasingly popular to silence people who've been wronged in cases ranging from financial disputes and insurance claims to sexual assault cases. Like the woman who alleged she was assaulted by hockey players on the men's World Junior team.
I was told that I had no option if I wanted to settle.
This requirement to try and keep people silent about almost anything is not democratic, and it suppresses freedom of expression.
Legislation to restrict the use of NDAs has been introduced in several provinces and passed in PEI. After Go Public contacted TD and BMO, both banks compensated their customers. TD apologized to Gwanghoot Sui, saying he should never have been asked to sign a confidential contract. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Our Go Public stories come from you. If you have a tip for the team to investigate, send an email to gopublic@cbc.ca. Tonight, movie fans are remembering Roger Corman, known for making hundreds of low-budget B movies.
Whatever it was, the look on his face was hideous. His eyes glittering like those of a maniac, his lips drawn back and his teeth clenched tight, his breath harsh and rapid.
Corman helped launch actors like Jack Nicholson. His movies had titles like The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, the kind that were never huge hits but often lived on as cult classics. Roger Corman died this week at 98, with his 2 latest movies in pre-production. Some buildings have begun storing rainwater in an effort to prevent floods.
This is our Smart Blue Roof Zone.
How the method can also cut energy costs and the risks that come with it. Plus a new perspective on the Vietnam War.
What if I told you that I was a communist?
What makes The Sympathizer such a unique production? And a historic plunge with pinpoint precision. We're back in 2. Some dramatic video of a major fire early this morning at one of the biggest shopping centers in Poland's capital. According to fire officials, nearly 100% of the complex was burned. No injuries were reported, but many small shop owners are grappling tonight with a major financial loss. As many businesses in this country look for new ways to go green, some are choosing to go blue. Philippe de Montagnier now on blue roof technology, how it works, and the role it could play if the price is right.
We have 2 drains.
This is a smart blue roof.
This is the one that we harvest.
Designed by the team of engineers at Enviro Stewards. The system is programmed to decide how much rainwater to funnel.
And then the water comes down through here
into this large storage tank. It's then filtered and treated using UV light. It now gets used for flushing toilets.
The filtered water goes in there.
And watering this plant wall set up inside their offices.
We've cut our water by 56% by reusing the rainwater. We've cut our air conditioning by 43% because the evaporating water keeps the roof cooler.
The heating bill is also cut in half, thanks to the insulation the blue roof provides. By diverting water away from overloaded municipal sewers, it also reduces flooding risks, one of the top business insurance claims in Canada.
And it's doubled in the last decade. And basically we're getting more intense storms more frequently.
So as we walk out here,
this conservation building just outside Toronto also has a blue roof. It can hold up to 40,000 liters of water and another 5,000 in the basement.
we would love to see blue roofs being built into building codes so that designers and engineers and city planners have these tools available to them.
For all the potential benefits, this urban planner warns of possible risks of storing large amounts of rainwater on a roof.
It has to be very well built, it has to be very well maintained, and it has to be inspected regularly.
Then there's the cost. While usually cheaper to build than a green roof, which helps insulate the building and soak up emissions, a blue roof still costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. To have them built more widely, getting that cost down is going to be crucial. Philippe de Montigny, CBC News, Mississauga.
Several Canadians are playing lead roles in a new mini-series about the Vietnam War.
Always smiling like the good Asian.
How the cast of The Sympathizer came together. Plus, Sophie Grégoire Trudeau reflects on the last decade and the message she'd send to her former self.
Hold on to your hats. It's going to be a wild ride.
And how India's growing religious divide is being fueled in part by politics.
History is being replaced by myths.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. A spectacular light show this weekend in parts of Canada and around the globe. The Northern Lights were visible for far more people than usual, thanks to a rare and powerful solar storm. Experts say it's the most severe geomagnetic event to hit the Earth in more than 2 decades. In the skies over London today, a daring and historic feat. For the first time, skydivers in wingsuits flew through the Tower Bridge after jumping from a helicopter. To pull it off safely, the pair had to complete a difficult move called a flare. At top speed, they were flying more than 240 kilometers an hour. Canadian talent shines bright in the new HBO limited series, The Sympathizer. It tells the story of a conflicted Viet Cong spy during the Vietnam War. Eli Glasner spoke with one of the Canadian creators and his talented co-star.
What if I told you that I was a communist?
The Sympathizer, a story of a double agent, is generating headlines for its fresh take on the Vietnamese experience. But the series' co-creator may surprise you.
I do think it's great.
For decades, actor, director, writer Don McKellar has been a familiar face on our screens.
Talk to me about, because this is a story, a Vietnamese story, how you saw yourself or how you saw your way into this.
Yeah, well, you're right. I sort of connected it maybe because of my age as a sort of young man's political coming of age in the 70s.
And McKellar was far from the only Canadian. Perfect for a show about outsiders.
The cast and the crew were from all over the world, particularly from Canada, as you know. Like, we had a huge number of Canadians, and just sort of by accident.
Always smiling like the good Asian.
Including McKellar's friend Sandra Oh, who plays Miss Maury, the girlfriend of the main character, the captain.
Viet, the author of the book, said, I would love, my dream casting for this Miss Maury character is Sandra Oh. And, and Chinook was like, yeah, that was fantastic. And I went, well, I think I could maybe get in touch. I did text her at that dinner, and she's like, yes.
It was not hard for me to just fall in love with her as Hua.
But The Sympathizer wouldn't work without casting the perfect spy. And for that, another outsider, Hua Shande, who's Australian Vietnamese.
He's never this enough, and he's never that enough. And I personally had that connection to this character.
And for McKellar, whether it's CBC or HBO, some things never change.
There was a huge financial pressure to keep it down and cut, and I thought, how is this
Well, you've
possible?
been very experienced at that.
But so I think I can do it. We're always more equipped than we think.
Sure. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. A campaign by Hindu nationalists in India to tear down mosques. As the ruling party seeks re-election, some say it's rewriting history.
History is being replaced by myths.
But first, Adrian sits down with one of Canada's most prominent mothers.
Think of the things your kids have been exposed to.
Sometimes we overprotect our kids. We don't want them to hurt. Pain is part of being human.
Here's Adrian with their conversation.
If you look at the cover of Sophie Grégoire Trudeau's book, Closer Together, she's looking back. Don't expect much of that within its pages. Once a broadcaster and, of course, former wife of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, those periods are part of her identity, but not what she wants her whole story to be. Mental health advocate, mom. This is her now. For this Mother's Day, we tried to touch on all of it.
How are you?
I'm great. You know, when I think about happiness and just being me in my life, it's really about living a conscious life and being responsible for our minds and our hearts, and I'm filled with love, and I'm surrounded by love.
Well, I mean, I get that impression even from Instagram today, right? You posted that the heart is a wild creature, that's why our ribs are cages. What is going on in your heart?
No, I rarely post stuff like that, but it triggered something. I thought it was evocative. And our hearts are wild creatures. Sometimes I feel like, as a mental health advocate, we should share more.
So when you talk about feeling and you talk about you've heard this room, this place is familiar to you.
Well, this place is familiar only because I celebrate my 40th birthday and because it's owned by incredible local talents and friends. Friends. And I'm very proud that they're doing so great.
What was the future for 40-year-old you?
I don't make that many plans. I think I've trained my brain to deal with uncertainty more. And the brain doesn't like uncertainty. And stress is a dysfunctional relationship with the present moment. So we can understand how many people are really in toxic stress alert mode everywhere in this country and on this planet.
That element of it is really relatable. I think what's hard sometimes to connect with is understanding the level of stress that you had to go through. You know, as a co-political spouse, which is how you phrase it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering if you can help me understand them a bit.
I don't think we should be comparing each other's sufferings, because we're all one trauma away from each other. And when we're stuck in that alert mode for too long, our bodies become sick. And when we see the division, the polarization in this world, and we see how people are feeling insecure and stressed, insecurity is also a very difficult way to be in order to trust others.
These are perhaps gracious descriptions of the vitriol that's been leveled recently. Slurs and rocks hurled at the Prime Minister and displays of hate their children have witnessed firsthand.
I would imagine that you and your children in particular saw things and heard things that were pretty uncomfortable. They saw the F. Trudeau signs, and I'm wondering how you got through that. You're in a doctor's office, and you and your daughter hear someone say, "I've got the Trudeau cold." And what did you do in that moment?
I felt my emotions rise, and I regulated them, is what I did. And we sighed and winked, because you can't take that personally. You can't. That's not... You wouldn't be of service to life if you took that personally. But politics is played differently these days. And I think we have to be more mindful with all the intimidation and bullying that's going on. You know, especially with female ministers and all that they've been going through, the things that I've seen and heard, if people knew this, maybe they'd have a different scope and a different way of looking at public service.
For example?
And I do, well, I take Minister Ian or any other female ministers, and Krista Freeland. And there's many who have gone through so much public scrutiny, and a big part of it is because there are women, and that is unacceptable. And we have to cry this out and say that it's absolutely unacceptable.
That happened to you?
Yes, it happened, yeah. I've had very hateful comments come my way, yes.
Were you surprised by the threats you faced?
Surprised. I think I'm growing into my late 40s, approaching 50 next year, with a little bit more perspective on life, on why people behave the way they do, that it's not that personal.
Think of the things your kids have been exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen those horrible images of your husband sort of in the gallows. How worried are you that that is imprinting on them?
They're surrounded with love and stability and just presence. And those are choices that I've made because that's the kind of mother that I want to be. Does it mean that they are completely invincible and that they don't feel the ups and downs of life? No, and that's not what I wish either. Sometimes we overprotect our kids. We don't want them to hurt. Pain is part of being human, but we don't teach our kids how to sit with pain, or adults for that matter.
Everyone, happy Halloween, trick or treat.
To be raising a young family, to be trying to keep their childhoods private while also needing to live so publicly, has to be an unusual experience. Grégoire Trudeau had access to a woman who understood like few others.
Your mother-in-law, Margaret Trudeau, talked of her co-political years as being in a gilded cage.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to you?
She was 18, 19, 20-year-old with undiagnosed bipolar disease. We cannot compare the situations. All I can say is that she's been an immense source of support on my path.
I'm wondering, though, if there's any advice that she offered that rattles for you and says, aha, that
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And they're not words. It's her constant love and support.
I think it's interesting that we don't, in this country, have the right language for the spouse of a prime minister. Like, it's not a first partner. There isn't like staff
right.
attached to this position. Mm-hmm. Do you think, having seen that role, that it's worthy of renovation, maybe?
Whoever will end up there one day has a different life than I do. Maybe is not comfortable maybe with cameras. I was trained to do this, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's all right, but maybe not for somebody else. So what if they don't want a particular role there? So it's a good question, but it's a hard one because it depends on every individual, and it would be changing a lot of things in the system. So it's a difficult one to answer.
You said something earlier about, people taking on a future role. We do know that in the current political landscape, Jagmeet Singh, Pierre Poilievre, they both have young families, mm-hmm. right? So there is, in the next election, should it be someone other than Justin Trudeau who becomes prime minister, there's a chance it will be people with young families. What do you wish someone had told you?
That's the thing, is that you go in without knowing what awaits you, but that's life. And even if I wanted to give 100,000 lessons to the people coming in, they will live it differently than we do and have and will. So I hope they have a good support system. I hope they offer each other love and support in their own families. But the rest really is not up to me. It's up to them,
You, I think it's a consequence of living in the public eye that people want to connect with you and they want to understand and they imagine your life a little bit. I think it's inevitable. It's probably not comfortable, but it's inevitable. And so when you and Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister Trudeau, separated, you can imagine the country was buzzing, right? Of
was
course.
there gossip?
With a little bit of gossip, yes, a little bit of gossip. But there were also questions, as in, I wonder if there was a hard conversation, please don't run again, please don't put the family and us through this again. Mm-hmm. And then there was a decision to run.
From what I've been learning on my path and meeting them,
Mm-hmm.
Canadians are open-hearted, they're open-minded, they wish the best for others. And when there is a minority of people who want to be divisive or are fearful or are in a place of insecurity, maybe all the gossip and the drama of relationships maybe interest them more. But that doesn't mean that, that everything has to be shared when anyway, we're always having truthful conversations within our own family unit and keeping things real. That's where it all really counts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people are that curious. I think people are caring, and I cannot tell you the amount of love and support that I've been getting.
I hope that's not a surprise to you.
A little bit.
Why?
I'm not sure why. I'm thinking. Because I love people, and I find solace in relationships. And I want to believe in the goodness of human beings. And I will never let my arms down and let the negative forces take over. So yeah, it makes me emotional because I think there's lots of not only positivity, but realism and constructivism at the same time.
So what would Sophie Grégoire Trudeau now tell Sophie Grégoire Trudeau back in 2015?
Hold on to your hats. It's going to be a wild ride. That's what I would say.
Good ride?
Be ready. Of course, it's life. I love life. Bottom line.
According to the CBC's weekly survey of independent bookstores, Closer Together by Sophie Grégoire Trudeau was the best-selling Canadian non-fiction book earlier this month. India's Hindu nationalists are pushing for the demolition of hundreds of mosques.
Is just playing to the gallery to garner the votes of those who are illiterate.
The Prime Minister's role in the religious divide. Next. A campaign by Hindu nationalists in India to tear down mosques. As the ruling party seeks re-election, some say it's rewriting history. Here's our South Asia correspondent Salima Shivji to break down how this clash of faiths is playing out.
Daybreak in India's holiest city, where a dip in the Ganges is a sacred ritual for Hindus. The calm here, a sharp contrast to the religious tensions simmering just below the surface of this ancient city built on prayer and devotion. A bitter legal dispute between Hindus and Muslims dominates Varanasi's Old Town, in an India increasingly divided along religious lines. A fight over this mosque, the city's oldest, built in the 17th century when the Mughals ruled India. The court battle has prompted prison-like security around Gyanvapi Mosque, now the subject of more than 24 separate legal cases, from Hindu petitioners arguing the mosque shouldn't be here, that it was built where a temple devoted to the god Shiva once stood. The initial court challenge came from these women who want the mosque to disappear. It's a deep-seated feeling in our hearts. We want to reclaim our temple, Sita Sahu says. The other women chime in, talking about a recent high court decision that ruled Hindus can now pray in the basement of the contested mosque. That's after an archaeological survey concluded there was once a temple there. It was a moment of happiness that faded fast, says Manju Vyas. It's unfair. Even if it's a win, these petitioners want more. The court ruling allowing access to the contested mosque came on the heels of this. India's Prime Minister leading a grand opening of a massive Hindu temple in another holy city, Ayodhya, built on the ruins of a mosque torn down by an angry Hindu mob in the 1990s. It's another spot where Hindus believe a temple once stood. That lavish ceremony has galvanized a push from Hindu nationalists to claim other Muslim sites across the country.
Massive support.
Narendra Modi's party, the BJP, is even campaigning on it, pairing anti-Muslim rhetoric with attacks against his main political opponent in this video, since removed from Instagram after a string of complaints. The Muslim invaders looted our treasures, it says, and they used to ruin our temples. It's a message that resonates deeply with Sohan Lal Arya. He proudly shows off the brick he took home in 1992, a piece of the former mosque in Ayodhya that he helped destroy. That was the first step, Arya says. Now it's the Gyanvapi Mosque that I want razed to the ground. He says he has nothing against the Muslim community, but they feel targeted. For Syed Mohammed Yassin, who has spent decades filing appeals to protect his mosque, the fight is exhausting and yet essential. We're not being heard at all, he says. It feels like the courts are skewed against us Muslims, and Prime Minister Modi too. Our situation is going from bad to worse, he says.
The Gyanvapi Mosque here in Varanasi may be the most high-profile one, but it's far from the only mosque targeted by Hindu nationalists. There are hundreds of them.
Mere days after the new temple in Ayodhya was inaugurated, a 600-year-old mosque that used to be here in the capital, Delhi, was bulldozed by authorities. It was illegal, they claimed, encroaching on land reserved for a forest. Other iconic Muslim monuments have been slapped with similar lawsuits questioning their existence, like Qutub Minar, Delhi's renowned red brick minaret. Even the world-famous Taj Mahal has been mentioned in court.
To construct temples.
For some historians who say maybe a couple of dozen temples were torn down by the Mughals, not thousands, it's a deeply worrying trend.
History is being replaced by myths.
A cynical rewriting of India's past, says this professor, to bring it in line with the Modi government's Hindu-first ideology.
Whatever drama is being played is just playing to the gallery to garner the votes of those who are illiterate, who are swayed only by the appeal of religion and nothing else.
But in Varanasi, at this traditional tea stall, there's a persistent sense of grievance and no question among the patrons that the BJP's focus on temples is to be celebrated.
The friction has already been caused.
The religious tension won't go away, this man says, until one side gives way.
For better harmony to prevail, Muslim side should come forward and they should themselves offer the places.
Voluntarily, he says, we will wait. As the rallies and overt Hindu celebrations pour into the streets of the holy city, a sign of a shift towards one dominant religion, Hinduism, in a once more secular India.
We're now halfway through this pivotal general election, and with turnout lower than last time, Narendra Modi is leaning into that anti-Muslim rhetoric. He's been accused of inflammatory speech after, at one rally, he called Muslims infiltrators who have more children. Modi claimed that they would take India's wealth if his political opponents won. Statements like that are stoking fears of what could come if Modi does indeed win a third term, as he's widely expected to.
Salima Shivji offers more insight into this ongoing election on the CBC podcast Understood. Her first episode on Modi's India drops tomorrow. That's on CBC Listen or wherever you find your podcasts. Coming up, a Mother's Day message with a comedic delivery.
How much do you love her?
More than my brother.
What these kids have to say to their moms is next in our moment. Mother's Day is nearly over, but the messages from these kids in St. John's, Newfoundland to their moms, well, those aren't going anywhere anytime soon. One by one, many of the kids stepped up to the mic, wishing mom a great day, some with a joke, some with a song, and tonight their adorable answers make our moment.
I love you, you love me. That's the way it's supposed to be.
How big is your love for your mom?
Aww. She cares a lot for me and I really appreciate it. I like her because when I get hurt sometimes she helps me. Mommy, Mommy, I love you. Thanks for all the things you do. Love when my mommy gives me hugs and kisses. My mom loves me the most and she loves me 68 times.
How much do you love her?
More than my brother. If you love your mommy and you know a blow we kiss. Happy Mother's Day!
You can't beat adorable messages from kids. A couple of Mother's Day superlatives for you. The most phone calls of any day of the year, Mother's Day. The busiest day for restaurants, Mother's Day. And I'll channel my inner Jerry D. The most popular gift on Mother's Day, survey says, flowers. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the Nationals YouTube channel. I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing in Vancouver. Good night.